Welcome. This is about the World Birth Defects Day. The word prevention should be stressed. We all need to be reminded that birth defects are a major cause of death and suffering for children, and that much of such suffering can be prevented. And this message is for you indeed. Yes, all of you, me included, need to know more about how birth defects can be prevented, how can we improve their care, and how important the problem is. If you want to have a child, if you have a child, then you should know and act. Otherwise, if you are a member of a civilized society, you should likewise know and act. Look at these figures compiled in California. It is clear that there, as virtually across the whole world, the main cause of infant mortality are congenital malformations. And that is not right. And those who survive with birth defects very often suffer. Like, for instance, children with spina bifida, for the most part, are paralyzed for life. In these few minutes, it is not possible for me or anyone else to convey to you all the facts and science that underscore these statements. But what can be done is to share with you the view that all of us, absolutely all, must know, and much more than we know, must have the consciousness of what's going on in order to have a clean conscience. For the care and prevention of birth defects is an index of civilization, is a property of the culture of human societies. Few salient examples should suffice. For instance, the importance of folic acid. Women that can become pregnant should consume folic acid before pregnancy and thereafter during the pregnancy. Consuming folic acid after you realize you're pregnant is too late. Why? Folic acid prevents spina bifida and related disorders. But if you begin to consume folic acid once you are aware of a pregnancy, it's too late. The malformation is already there, and the consequences are already there, and a beautiful child, otherwise normal, may be paralyzed for life. Another example is alcohol. Indeed, you are aware that many adults have fun drinking alcoholic beverages, but they are not aware that this is a teratogen, a cause of congenital malformations that brings death or lifelong misfortune to the child that may be in utero of a woman who may or may not be aware of being pregnant. An adult may become intoxicated for one evening, but the child may become intoxicated for a whole life. What is the justice in such situation? Now, probably many of you are aware that healthy mothers have healthy babies. But the alternative may be tragic. A healthy mother, by implication, is a well-nourished one. So consumptions of vitamins, minerals, folic acid, and other micronutrients is essential, and it should begin before the pregnancy if at all possible, and should be continued throughout pregnancy mandatorily. It is a mother's choice to be healthy in many instances, and if she is not healthy, she should seek as much help as possible before she gets pregnant. The ideal pregnancy is a planned one. The ideal pregnancy requires prenatal care. And among these steps is immunizations, not only of the women likely to become pregnant, but of the children as well. Because a child with, let's say, German measles or rubella may be infectious to the mother, who may become ill and not be even aware that she has a viral infection. A mother should avoid teratogens or birth defects causing agents in the environment. So among these avoidable causes that may destroy a fetus are the necessity to promote immunizations, such as, for instance, German measles or rubella, the control of diabetes, of epilepsy. Such women suffering from such chronic disorders may be helped a great deal and may conceive then successfully and deliver a normal child. Much is preventable. Fetal environmental disruptions are preventable, and fetal mental physical anomalies may be severe. So prevention is essential. Think of lead, think of mercury, and we'll come back to these points. Here are some of the teratogens or environmental causes of congenital malformations. First of all of you, men and women, should ask and ask and ask again, what are the risky environmental factors you may be exposed to? Your job, your living situation, your health, but ask before rather than during a pregnancy. Take, for instance, radiation. If you live near a nuclear power plant, or if your water supply may be compromised by discharge of mercury or lead, or if you are consuming medications that may be unsafe for an unborn, or if your job or other circumstances expose you to chemical effluents, pollution, the answer is ask. Ask and ask again. And can we for a moment imagine what are the eyes of children exposed to? What do they see? How do they look at what we adults are doing? Here are sketches by school children that live not too far from the Chernobyl disaster. How do they feel about abandoning their pets, about being evacuated, about some areas of the world living in a green paradise while they live in a gray, desperate zone? Birth defects are a tragedy, not only in the Chernobyl-related areas, but in Fukushima, in 3 Mile Islands, and other areas. All of this, virtually all environmental exposures that compromise the development of an unborn, are preventable. So why is our future free of children? Is profit all what counts? I don't think so. Here is an image that I hope you will remember. A young couple has been just married, and the state could afford a tiny present that costs pennies, a little box with folic acid pills. It is an attempt of a society to say I care, to say I know that your baby is you, and the you is not only her and her husband and you and me, it is the whole society. The hope is that that small intervention will prevent at least one or more children from having neural tube defects. We'll never know what fate did not produce, because what we want is children that are entirely normal. They will not know, I will not know, you will not know, but the frequency of preventable neural tube defects will drop, and that we do know. Over 70 nations have amply demonstrated that folic acid can prevent nearly 50% of instances of neural tube defects. Now it's time to say goodbye and good fortune. I just want to remind you that you may obtain more information by contacting us or immediately by viewing a longer version of a similar presentation. Thank you.